What is going on, everyone? What's going on? Welcome to another Pre-PT Chat Live. Pre-PT Chat Live is Thursday night. It's about 8 o'clock Central Time here in Chicago, 9 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Time on the East Coast. And we're doing this Pre-PT Chat Live. It's just me tonight. Joseph has some very important things going on that he'll tell you about pretty soon, or you guys already know. But he has some important things going on tonight, so it's just going to be me, and it's just going to be story time. I'm leaning back in my chair. If you guys are listening on the podcast, I'm leaning back in my chair tonight just to tell a story. It's a short one, but I want to get this point across because there might be someone out there who might be listening, in the weeds, who might not always be too active in our Facebook group or on our Instagram or with us. And they might have a huge, a very high GPA. They might be like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need this. I can take that from them because that can help me. But I'm straight. I'm good. I got a 3.8. I got a 3.9. I've had that all through, undergrad, all through my prerequisites. So I'm good. I'm good. And, I'm better than them. I'm this and that. And I want to tell this story because it might just help one person. And if I can do that, then I am beyond blessed to have done that for someone in the world. So hopefully the story can at least reach one person or get to someone or a few people before this becomes, them, before they become this person that I'm going to tell in this story. So just be aware. If it's you, if you feel like it's becoming you, if you're at that end of the spectrum where you have a very high GPA, you have great grades, you have a high GRE score, everything's going quote unquote right for you, and you're just listening to us in the background and you're just following us, you listen to our podcast, you're on our live streams, and things are going well for you right now, and you're like, I'm going to kill this interview, I'm going to kill this application cycle. Great. Like, that's fantastic. You're in a great spot, but don't let that hurt you as well. Make sure that doesn't hurt you while you're at the top. There's nowhere else you can go but down, right? So while you're up there, make sure you're doing everything right and you don't become this person who I'm about to tell in the story. Sorry, I've been talking all day. I've had patients since 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning, and I just finished my last one at 6 to 7 for their session. So I've been rambling all day, so talking is pretty hard at the end of the day. But what's going on? Kaylee, Katie, Cameron, Debbie, Tyler, thanks for joining, guys. But for this story, the main plot of the story, or the main message of the story, is arrogance. This 4.0 student did not get accepted into PT school because of something called arrogance. And arrogance is just a disguise for ignorance, but I'll go into that a little later on. But this person was a TA, a teacher's assistant for one of our classes during undergrad, during one of my prerequisite classes. Kelsey, what's going on? Thanks for joining. But this person was a TA for one of our prerequisite classes during undergrad. And he was super smart. He was the head TA. He had a great MCAT score. He was like the teacher's pet. Everyone loved him. He knew the answers to every single question. He was hard on all the students. He was basically like, everyone feared him because he was like this teacher. He was super smart. He knew everything. He, gave you bad grades. He was the guy. And this is actually a med student. So it's not a PT student, but the same things apply to pre-PTs and PT students. But he applied to med school. I'm sure a bunch of med schools. Taylor, what's going on? Thanks for joining. But he applied to a bunch of med schools. Of course, he got all the interviews and everything. There's no one who turned him down for an interview. But long story short, he was denied. He was denied. He had a 4.0, great MCAT scores, great letters of recommendation. Everyone loved him. All the teachers loved him. The students, the people taking the lab for this particular class didn't love him so much, but he had everything going for him. He had the high grades, he had the high test scores, he had the high standardized test scores. He was doing all these activities. He was the head of the, I think, pre-med club or some high office in the pre-med club. So he was doing everything right. According to the book, according to the stats, according to the application, he was doing everything right. On paper, he was great. And I want to pause here because someone may be listening, and everything on paper may be quote unquote right for you, but you can still possibly get denied because of something called arrogance, because of something called being too full of yourself, because of something, all these things. It can definitely mess you up. You can slide down the top of that mountain because, like I said, there's nowhere else to go but down once you're at the top. So you can have everything going for you on paper. But why do they have the interviews? Why do they have you write these essays? Why do they have other people vouch for you? Because they really want to get to know who you are. They really want to get to know who you will be in their program, in their class, and for their schools. And not just for their schools, sorry, for the patients. Like, are you going to be this type of person to your patients? And I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of arrogant, cocky physicians, surgeons, physical therapists, other people, and we don't really need that in the profession and in other medical professions as well. Edward, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Yvonne, Jakevis, Taylor, what's going on, guys? Thanks for joining. But we don't really need that, and I think they saw that. These particular people saw that in this interview and in this interaction with this person. So he got denied. He got denied the first time. I don't know if he even applied the second time. He must have been so hurt. He must have been so distraught that he didn't even apply to med school again. And right now, or last I've heard, he's not even a physician. Right now, he is not even a physician. Everything he was in undergrad for, everything he, busted his butt for the MCAT for, everything he was doing during his whole college career, he's not even doing that anymore. I think he is last time I heard, he's a biology teacher. And he was supposed to go to med school. And there's nothing wrong with being a biology teacher, but the whole direction of his life was changed because of something so, however you want to look at it, big or small. Like, that's just ridiculous. He had everything going for him except that arrogance, except that lack of, I guess arrogance is really just a disguise for confidence. Just because of him being full of himself, just because of him thinking he was always right, there was nobody who could be better than him. His abilities were better than everyone else's. He was so much smarter than people. And oftentimes people believe that arrogance, or people often believe that arrogance is excessive confidence. But really, it's just a lack of confidence. And it's a lack of confidence because you are not willing to humble yourself to think that other people can teach you something, or that you cannot humble yourself enough to think that you can learn from someone else, or you think that you are so great and so smart that you can never really be better. And you have no confidence in yourself that you can be better than you are now. So you're really just tearing everyone else down, thinking you're the best, uplifting yourself, being so cocky, being so arrogant, because deep down inside, you're like, I can never be better than this. Let's just tear everyone else down. Let's just be the cockiest person ever because I'm so great now. This is never going to go away. So since this is never going to go away, oh shoot, let me hold on to it. Because I don't know if I'm ever going to get this again. And it's really a lack of the abundance mindset. You can never learn more, or you thinking you can never learn more. You can never gain more because you've worked so hard, you've got to everything to where you're at now that can I even get better? So this person, of course, I don't know what was going on in his head, but just from, knowing him and seeing him from the outside and seeing what other people have said and knowing where he is now, like, it's just crazy to think that something so big or so small, however you want to look at it, really changed the course of his life really forever. And really, probably from that interview and him having a reality check with himself, really just took two forks in the road and he went the opposite way. So I don't want, basically the premise of the story is, I don't want that to be you. I don't care if you're super active in our community. I don't care if you're just listening on a few live streams or one podcast, or you take what you need and go, that's fine. But possibly someone out here may need to hear this. Possibly someone out there may be at that other end of the spectrum. We talk a lot about people who are struggling, people with low GPAs, people who need to retake classes, giving them motivation, making sure they're on the right track, making sure that they don't give up on their dreams because of what happened in the past or from what someone told them. But we don't want to forget about the other end of the spectrum either. What about the people who are, doing everything quote unquote right now? And they're like, man, I'm good. Like, what? I don't need nothing. Like, I'm straight. Of course they're going to accept me. How could they not? Psh, easy. I can get into this. I can get into that. And of course, you want to have some level of confidence, but to that extreme, I'm just making sure that no one out there, or at least listening to this podcast, no one out there goes to that extreme so that the course of their life, their career, is not deterred because of something so minuscule that could have been caught, that could have been changed. We always talk about saving time or money. This could be one way for someone out there, for a few people out there. We could have caught this early enough so that their life, their career is not detoured because of something like this. So basically, I don't want this to be you in that story. If you're doing great, if you're the TA, if you're the president of your pre-PT club, if everyone loves you, if you have great letters of recommendation, if you have a 4.0, if your GRE scores are off the charts, that's great. That's great. I would have loved to have been in your shoes. Many of pre-PTs would have loved to be where you are right now, but don't let that get to your head. Please, please don't let that get to your head, because why? I said all of that, all of this long talk, because of this. Why? Because the patients don't give a shit. Excuse my French, but the patients don't give a shit about your high GRE score, about your 4.0 GPA, about who wrote your letters of recommendation. If you're cocky, if you're arrogant, and that follows through to the patients, that follows through to your employer, that follows through in your business, that follows through in your online business, that follows through in your career, no one is going to like you, and you'll have a miserable career. You'll have miserable patients. You're getting into this profession to make people's lives better, to help people, to make the world a better place. If you're going in with this mindset, with this attitude, with this thought process, it's not going to be fun. You're going to go through your undergrad career on top. You're going to go through your PT school career on top. But once you pass your board exam, and even if you do great on your board exam, if you get an 800, hallelujah, more power to you. Your patients have no idea what a board exam score is. Your employer won't even ask you. They just care if you have your license or not. But what will they care about? You being authentic, you being kind, you being generous, you being a team player, you not being arrogant or cocky, you being confident but not full of yourself, you being able to take criticism and feedback and being able to use that to be better. That's what really matters. That's what really these schools are really looking for with your interviews, and trying to read between the lines of with your letters of recommendation and your essays and all that stuff. Are you even a good human being? Behind all that coursework, behind your paper application, will your patients even like you, to pay you more money, to get them better, or to use their insurance, whatever they're using? Are you going to be a detriment to the physical therapy profession or not? Are you going to be a detriment to the healthcare profession or not? So make sure, for someone out there, this may be a light bulb, and I hope it is. I don't care if 99% of people are like, that's not me, Casey's just talking, that's fine. That is definitely fine. But if I can save one patient out there 3 years from now, if I can exponentially save 500 patients out there 3 years from now because of this talk, because of one person heard that talk and said, oh shoot, I have a 3.98. Oh shoot, I have a great GRE score. Oh shoot, I don't really need a lot of help. Yeah, I kind of, and of course, it's not going to be that simple. You have to take a deep look in the mirror with this, because you're going to be like, oh, of course it's not me, whatever, Casey's just talking. But in reality, come on now, be real with yourself. I'm not the best clinician. I was never the best student in PT school. I was not the best pre-PT student. I'm not the smartest person in the world. But what I've heard from my employer now, from my teammates now, from people in pre-PT grind, from people at Covalent Careers, from my CIs, from my teachers, is I've been able to take, feedback, criticism, positive criticism or negative criticism, however you want to view that, and in a light that I can use it, internalize it, and be better and not take it personally. So if I done nothing else throughout my PT school career, if I had learned that skill, been able to use that and give it to you in some form of this story, maybe it's this story, maybe it'll be something else in the future. If I can use that skill to interpret this story, to give it to you so that you become a better clinician and be able to be that as well, I've done a huge part of my job, I think, in my opinion. So make sure you're able to do that as well. Make sure you're not arrogant. Make sure you're not cocky, and make sure that this does not become a hindrance for you in the future. Because, like I said before, I don't care how smart you are. I don't care your GPA. I don't care your GRE score. I don't care your NPTE score. I don't care your GPA and PT school. Your patients don't care. I'm sorry. If you're busting your ass right now and you're getting that 3.9, do it, because that's what you need to do. If you're struggling and you got to get that GPA up, do what you need to do. Like, okay, we got to get in the game. That's fine. But make sure, if you're at the top right now, make sure you understand that your patients don't care. Your school may care. You may care. That's great. But your patients don't care. They want to make sure that you care about them. They want to make sure that you're kind. They want to make sure that you understand them. They want to make sure that you can explain things well enough that they can understand, that they can take back home and use for their lives. They want to make sure that someone is out there who's not just using me as another statistic or another number. I want a healthcare provider who is there for me, and they won't care your GPA, your stats at all. So that's really it. Not a huge hype show for this one. Just a short story, just story time with Casey for this one. And I wanted to tell you that story about that person who did not get accepted and their life is totally changed, or at least from what I know so far, their life is totally changed, going in a totally different direction because of how they acted back when they were a pre-med student. So don't become that pre-PT student because your patients don't want it, and your schools definitely don't want it, and I don't want it. In my profession, like, we have enough of that crap. Like, come on. We have enough of that crap in our profession. We don't need another one of those. We're trying to tell you guys how to be so that when you do become in our profession, it becomes better over time. Our grander mission, yeah, we want to get you into PT school, but our grander mission is to help grow the profession in a positive direction, starting with you guys who aren't even there yet. If we can get you guys now thinking like this and understanding this, our profession will be so I don't want to say so much better, because there's a lot of great stuff. Of course, there's bad stuff, but there's a lot of great stuff going on now. So it can grow in a more positive light for the future, starting with you guys. So I hope you guys I hope just one person, maybe 3, if I get lucky, maybe 10, maybe 10 out there throughout the course of Pre-PT Grind's history will take something from this and use it for their benefit. So I hope it helped. This was another Pre-PT Chat Live. Stephanie, thanks for joining. Corey, Yin, is that Yilin? I'm probably butchering that name, but thanks for joining. Hayes, Jennifer, Pauline, thanks for joining, everyone. If you're hopping in late, leave some comments below. Tag your friends, tell your friends about the podcast, tell your classmates, tell them about Pre-PT Grind, because we're here to help you guys get into PT school without wasting time or money and become great physical therapists. So thanks for joining me on this pre-PT chat. Whew. Sorry, like I said, I've been talking all day. But pre-PT chat live, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Enjoy your weekend to come.